Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jazakallah khair for coming back. This is day 3 of Ramadan. I'm brother Zaihan Rashid from the Happy Strong family. Today I'm going to very briefly as a family think about why should we eat together as a family. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a very famous hadith was asked by a man, "O Prophet of God, I eat excessively." And the Prophet ﷺ asked the man, "Do you eat alone?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "Sit with others. It will create blessing." Now that to me indicates right away that when we sit together and eat, it creates some kind of energy that does not exist when we are sitting on our own. And it seems very interesting because we often don't realize that when we sit with others, we actually share the blessing of Allah together. The famous concept of breaking bread. It's not something that's isolated to Muslims. It's actually very widely recognized. So how about making in Ramadan not just eating healthy food together, but actually sitting down together? And not sitting to say, I just need to get away, I'll spend this 5 minutes. No, actually make it a point in Ramadan to sit as a family. I would even go the next step and say, how about if we talk about that blessing that's in front of us and say, isn't it beautiful as a family to share this food? And how about taking on a project for little Ahmad or little Fatma to say, how did that food get on our plate? You know, we often take food for granted. We often think food is just there. But do you know that apple, how it got onto your plate? Do you know that beautiful piece of biryani, for example? Something that you're eating, do you know how it was put together? Aside from the fact that your mom cooked it or whoever cooked it, do you actually know where the products came from, where the individual ingredients came from? It can actually be a very beautiful exercise during Ramadan. It simply focuses on the blessings of God. And I would really like food to become a source, not just of physical nutrition, but a source of spiritual nutrition. And when you particularly appreciate something that Allah has given you, I am always reminded of the ayah in the Quran which says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, La in shakar wa la in shakartum la azidannakum. That Allah Ta'ala is telling us that when you appreciate something, Allah will increase you. And Allah doesn't say what He increases us in. So let us use food, obviously not just to eat healthy, but also to use it as a spiritual source of regeneration for ourselves on a regular basis as a family. And use individuals, if children want to, adults can do it too, to say, how about we talk about one food item and its journey. I think it's a project that will really make people think. Even the glass of water that we are drinking, I remember an Indian scholar talking about it. How often do we think about that water, how it got onto the glass that we're drinking? We simply think we've opened the fridge, taken the water out and drank it. But do we realize what journey that water took? It's an exciting story to think about that water started somewhere in the ocean. That water evaporated into the clouds. That water ultimately came down in the form of rain or snow and then collected and got all the way into a river or a stream and got all the way to a lake or wherever the body of water is from where it got to our table. I think when you think of things like that, you start to appreciate things that perhaps most of us just take for granted. I would say as a family, how about using this Ramadan day today as a day of appreciating those products of food, those items of drink that we have in front of us, and really appreciate them by recognizing who gave it to us, how it got here, what do we do in return, how do we appreciate God's beautiful blessings that are in front of us in vast amounts. May Allah Ta'ala make us in this Ramadan an appreciating family. May Allah Ta'ala make us this Ramadan a family that's connected together because of the food and drink, because of the appreciation of God's blessings. I thank you very much. Until tomorrow, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.